That was risky stuff down there. Sete Camera looking for the exit. Latifi's had contact in the middle of the corner. That's not what Sete Camera needed. The second place man is losing positions. Louis Delatraz has moved up from 5th to 2nd place. And can he take advantage on the slipstream? That's exactly what Nick de Vries needed as they go through Eau Rouge for the first time on lap number 1. On the road there, Luca Giotto side by side with Nikita Mazepin. But that is what Nick de Vries needed. No challenge to turn number 1. Unlike Mazepin and Giotto, who are racing side by side into the 5th turn from the Kemmel Straight to Lecum. They're 3 wide, but crucially for Nick de Vries, he's held onto the lead. Nikita Mazepin hangs on to that position. And are they all going to get through turn number 5? Yes, they will, as they head to Malmedy. And it was very, very close, but Nick de Vries keeping the lead after Sergio Sete Camera going off at turn number 1.
It was amazing, de Vries. Eau Rouge Radion, it was completely flat and he opened the gap. Fantastic.
But well, puncture.
Oh. Nicholas Latifi, second in the championship, middle of the pack after a qualifying performance that wasn't his fault. Didn't have a chance to do a second run. He is trying to catch, has got a dream getaway. Everything is working out right now for Nick de Vries in the lead of the race.
Yeah, he was very good at the start. De Vries and then Delatraz. That he saw the gap in the middle of the 2 cars in front of him and he just took him. So Delatraz was fantastic in the getaway.
So Delatraz up to 2nd place from 5th on the grid. Great getaway for the Swiss driver on the podium on 2 occasions this year, but never on the top step. Can he change that? Can he try and take the fight to de Vries on a day where it might be about to look after your tyres? Sometimes that's the only hint of a weakness in Nick de Vries' is driving armoury, and it is an impressive armoury. There is Luca Giotto moving to the apex first, getting past Nikita Mazepin and staging his fight back. The driver that started 9th now up to 6th position as he cuts the beam, and we're on to lap number 2. De Vries, Delatraz, Aitken, Sete Camera, Matsushita, and then Giotto moving past Nikita Mazepin. Mick Schumacher in 8th position, losing a couple of places on that first lap as the Sauber Junior Team driver there of Juan Manuel Correa and Sean Galeo get very close. Now, what sort of commitment do they have through Eau Rouge? Actually, de Vries saying that Huon is a more interesting... Oh, there's a big crash there. There's a car who lost it. Car has lost it on the way in. Oh, no. Oh, that's a horrible accident. That is a horrible accident involving the Sauber Junior Team, and that is not what anyone wanted to see. A horrible smash at the top of the hill in Radion.
You saw it, he lost the rear on the right corner where you are almost flat out, and then he tried to control the oversteer, but he just spun.
So I think there's an Arden and a Sauber Junior Team car involved there. There's Giuliano Alesi at the top of the hill, another driver eliminated. And that was a huge accident at the top of the hill. It's easy flat in a Formula 2 car these days, but early on with the fuel, with cold tyres, Davide.
Not at the beginning of the race.
Yes.
You're right, it's easy flat in quality condition. No fuel, fresh tires, new tires, fantastic grip, but in this condition, at the beginning of the race, with a lot of fuel, with very low pressure in tires to try to make them last, it's not easy. It's not easy flat.
So the red flag is out, cars are back to the pit lane. Enormous accident at the top of the hill involving an Arden, and you can see Ralph Boschon caught up in that as well. And it is part of the racetrack where you need your car's full commitment. It is, we saw a big crash in Formula 1 a few years ago, didn't we, with Kevin Magnussen. And there's Nicholas Latifi lined up at the end of the pit lane with that puncture that he suffered at the start. We saw a big crash in GP2 back in 2015 with Daniel de Jong, who was off into the barrier at Blanchimont after contact with Pierre Gasly back in 2015. Medical car and Dr. Ian Roberts will be deployed to the racetrack. Giuliano Alesi on the back of the scooter.
Not a lucky day, to be honest. Not a lucky day, not a lucky race. I don't know, to be honest. I was thinking that the man that he lost the rear in, it was Alesi, so probably I was wrong, because I saw one car that was completely sliding, trying to control the oversteering already on, and they were thinking it was a lazy, but I think I'm wrong.
Yeah, Lacey and Boschon, the only two drivers who started the race on the medium tyres. That all feels a little bit academic right now. The red flag out for a huge accident. Radion on the second lap of the race. The race has been suspended. Boschon is returning to the pits. There he was on those medium tyres. Medical car has been deployed to the top of the hill. We're not showing you those pictures right now until we make sure that everyone is okay, and we keep our fingers crossed that they are okay. So Latifi in the foreground there, and his championship rival Nick de Vries doing everything he needed to get off the line. So we can have a look at the pit lane now. So red flag conditions. Just keeping on the pictures in the pit lane at the moment. Getaway for Nick de Vries, with problems further behind. But a red flag early on, with not much of the race run so far. Violent accident.
Yeah, to be honest, as soon as we saw the image where the car was losing the rear grip,
yeah,
we just felt this strange feeling, no, in the stomach.
You never want to see a car get loose there. And so Sato is out of the car. So Sato is okay, eliminated with that crash. Can confirm to you that it's Anthoine Hubert and Juan Manuel Correa who were involved in the crash. And we saw Correa upside down. That was the car upside down that you would have seen in the Sauber Junior team car. And the Pink Garden was two-time race winner from this year, Anthoine Hubert. Two rookie drivers. Really likeable chaps. Really engaging characters in the paddock. Fast guys competing last year in GP3. And what we can show you is the race start. We're not going to show you a replay until we know that the drivers at the top of the hill are okay. So let's review what happened at the race start. So watch for Latifi. He's going to get hit by Schumacher, and there was the cause of the puncture Davide.
Yeah, probably closed a bit too much the line, and they didn't realize that Schumacher was in. Here from Halesi, not easy to approach the first corner, where in front of you have this mess. He decided to stay a bit wide. You see it, probably Latifi closed a bit too much the line, and he didn't realize that Schumacher was on the inside.
He's on board with Nicholas Latifi, who was not in 20th position at this moment. Pretty good start at this stage to get himself in the mix. There's the hit. And he knew straight away. You can see his teammate further up. And let's have a look at Sete camera. Yellow crash helmet, navy car, right-hand side of the screen.
He braked very deep just to recover the second position, to regain the second position. But then seems that he was probably, there was no space in the exit, and he decided to run wide. Was not a brilliant start for Camara, that he had too much wheel spin and he lost the momentum just at the beginning.
Yeah, really did. That is Dams knowing that what they really needed was him to tuck in. It's a great shot of the action down to turn one. So often see incidences down there at the first turn. But the big winner off the start line was Louis Delatraz, and there was the contact for second place man in the championship, Nicholas Latifi of Canada, being hit by our most recent race winner until today, Mick Schumacher.
Also because Schumacher didn't miss at all at the first corner. I mean, did you saw him? He was with the right tires on the curb, so I think that Latifi just turned in a bit too early.
So Luca Giotto out of the car. And he will be discussing along with his team that it was a good getaway for Luca Giotto, and he'd made an early impression.
Not easy also for the driver, that they were just behind the crash. I can imagine the driver
if you've seen it.
Yeah.
It's 3D. If you're just joining us, we have a red flag and the race suspended after a big accident, very violent accident at the top of the hill after one car got loose at the top of the hill and there was a concertina effect. We had a car overturned at one of the scariest places in all of motor racing. And so we are holding back showing you any replays until we hear word that is positive from the medical team at the top of the hill. Here is Sergio Sette Camara, who found himself squeezed wide at the start. The driver, third place this season. Overtook Luca Ghiotto in the last round in Budapest, had done a really good job, struggling earlier on in qualifying. They made team changes down at Dams, had trouble with understeer, Davide, which really hurts you around this circuit, can really snowball. And then after that, not sure how much the drivers are aware of the situation right now. So worth bearing that in mind. They will be sitting in the car, the adrenaline stopping, and then just gathering themselves together. Jack Aitken maintaining that third position off the line. Matsushita there, and the session will not be restarted. The race will not be restarted. A reflection of how big the accident was at the top of the hill. So race control deciding that there will not be a feature race today due to the accident that we saw. The race suspended on lap number 3. There will be no points awarded today. And that is disappointing, but under the circumstances, understandable, by the way.
Yeah, you're right. We felt immediately there was in a point of the circuit where usually it's not easy to avoid the crash when you lose the car in that point, and we already immediately felt that in the stomach there was the sensation that something big was going to happen anyway. Was not a lucky day. I hope that is going to be lucky. It's going to be a very lucky evening for the drivers that they were in the incident.
We hope so. We definitely hope so in the commentary box. The other drivers will be getting told of it now. The serious nature of the accident. We know that it's Juan Manuel Correa. We know that it's Anthoine Hubert involved in a very sizable accident, and from being pumped up and excited, ready to see the action, well, that's all academic when two drivers have an accident like that. And all they have to do now is return to the pit lane. So it was an empty feeling on the grid, and a big accident involving the American driver Juan Manuel Correa, who graduated from GP3 last year to Formula 2, and two-time race winner this year, Anthoine Hubert of France, won his home event earlier this year. Some of the best pictures of the year, that race. And Matsushita, who knows what it's like to crash into that part of the racetrack, had a big crash the last time he raced here back in 2017. There will be no points awarded, but that is not important right now. We have a green light at the end of the pit lane. The drivers will drive back into what is the old pit lane here, the original one, and they will then park up the F2 garages on that other side.
You know, Alex, as a driver, we know that in that point the escape road is not big. We know that there is the barrier very close to the racing line. And you know, before the race, we accept this, and we know every lap that there it can be dangerous, and we need to take care about this corner. But when you are in the race, the adrenaline, the competition, sometimes you just miss this feeling about fear and dangerous, and you just overdrive a bit. So not a very lucky condition.
Greatly described, Davide, greatly described. We've got a yellow flag there for Matsushita, who has now been restarted. The race will not be restarted. The drivers are returning to the pit lane.